Las Vegas homes are no longer affordable for locals, believe it or not. It is getting crazy. So, most of the homes for sale in the Las Vegas Valley are unaffordable for the average family. Now, this is according to new reports by Redfin. Now, this is what Redfin is saying here. It says approximately 20% of the houses listed for sale in the Valley are affordable for a household earning the median income, which currently sits at $81,000. Now, the average household income here right now in Las Vegas is $76,000. So that has increased by $5,000. So if you wanted to buy a home today with the median price point of $485,000, you probably got to be making $81,000 just to keep up. Now, the typical Las Vegas household would spend nearly 40% of their income to buy a median price point for a home. 40%. Now, that also does not include the 30-year term of your loan, because if you bought a $485,000 home in 30 years, by the time you paid interest on it, it's probably like $680,000. Now, the active listings in the Valley jumped up 31% in July. Now, compare this to the same month of last year. This is the largest increase of any metro region in the country. Well, obviously Las Vegas grew very fast because of home pricing and what you get out here, and it's totally understandable. But now we're starting to see some hairline cracks. I'm not saying that there's going to be a crash, but this is something that you need to be aware of. Now, pending home sales has dropped 8.6% over the same time frame, while closing sales fell 8.5%, which Redfin says this: signs that there is a serious hesitation from buyers in the local market. So buyers are looking at this and saying, hey, I can barely afford a home. Do I want to make this monthly payment? I mean, believe it or not, half of your income is going to a house. Is it really worth it? Man, that's a lot of money. And if you want to live comfortable and you want to spend 40% of your income, I mean, that's totally up to you. But for me, I couldn't do that. But let me know in the comments below, would you spend 40% of your income to actually purchase a home or live that American dream? Now, the average days on the market in the Valley rose 55 days in July, which is 16 days longer than July of last year. So obviously things are sitting on the market a little bit longer than usual. However, it doesn't mean that we are in a recession. But warning, warning, warning. So this is something that we need to be aware of. Now, home ownership rates are starting to slow down. And I think this is very important. And this is basically all the way across the country, right? Now, Redfin actually reports that the American home ownership population has stopped growing for the first time in nearly a decade. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Now, the number of home ownerships in the US dropped 0.1% year over year. Now, an estimated that 62 million in the second quarter of 2025. This is the first decline since 2016. Now, the numbers of rental household rose 2.6% year over year to the end of the second quarter, approximately 46 million, one of the largest increases in recent years. And the reason why this is happening is because based upon today's interest rate, 6.5% to 7% on a $480,000 home, if you're putting down about 20%, what's happening is your monthly payment is probably going to be roughly about $2,900 a month for an 1,800 square foot home. If that's the case, you can go rent a home for less than $2,900 a month with the same type of home. And that's the reason why people are actually renting. I'm also having sellers right now, what they're doing is putting their home on the market, they're selling their home, and they're gonna rent a home because they wanna see what's going on. Including myself, I'm gonna be very transparent with you. I just closed my other investment property today, and I literally liquidated my whole portfolio. I'm sitting on cash because I want to see exactly what the economy is going to do. So that way, if it does crash, then I can go back into the marketplace and buy up more properties. However, if I do find a good deal, and I'm talking about a very good deal where I can flip another property and make a profit, and if the market does tank by 10, 15, 20%, I still have those margins, then I'm still going to pull the trigger. So don't just think I'm just gonna sit on the sidelines and wait for a market crash, because the problem is that You never know when a crash is going to take place. It's be in the game and play the game, or you can sit on the sidelines and lose the opportunity. Now, the home ownership population in America is no longer growing like before. And the reason why is because of high prices across the country, high interest rates, and also economic factors, right? It's just a lot of uncertainty for buyers and also for sellers. One of the things that I've noticed that nobody talked about was the next generation. I noticed this next generation, they're no longer getting married. They're just living with their parents, they're just going out and spending money, and they're just renting. But what I've noticed is, when you are going through life and you get married, you typically have kids and you'll buy a house. But that's starting to slow down because the numbers of the next generations that are getting married is very slow. And it has to do with cost of living. Totally understandable. So the question is this: if your household makes $81,000 a year, how much could you actually afford? So let's take a look at this. Let's assume that you have no debt whatsoever and you make $81,000. Based upon a debt-to-income ratio of 43% and today's interest rate of 7%, and you had some money stacked up on the side, and you decided to put down 20%. Now, 20% would be $92,000 of a $460,000 home. That's what you would be approved for. But unfortunately, to really get into the game, to have more options, the median price point for a home today for a single family residence is $485,000. Now, I'm not saying that you can't get a home for $460,000 because there are homes out there for $460,000. But for you to really get more options, more of a newer home, you're going to be at the $485,000 price point. Now, here's the crazy part. If you did put down 20% of $460,000, that's $92,000. But not everybody has $92,000, and I understand that. So what I did was basically ChatGPT, what's the average savings for an American? Roughly, it's around $8,000 that they have in the savings. And look, I understand. $92,000 for a $460,000 home is a lot of money. It would literally take you forever just to save $92,000, right? Now, let's just assume that you don't have the money and you decided to take on an FHA loan. And what's great about an FHA loan, it's only 3.5% down of the total purchase price. So the question is, how much of a home could you actually buy? What is your purchasing power? So let's go back to the $460,000, right? If you put down $92,000, okay, with a 7% interest rate, okay, your payment is roughly about $2,900 a month, okay? Now, at that point, let's just say you didn't want to put down the $92,000, but you want to put down less. So we decided to go FHA, okay, for the first-time home buyers. We're only putting down 3.5%, okay? We know that you're comfortable with the $2,900 payment. Now your purchasing power is $390,000. Now, at $390,000, you're probably going to get a box. Like, let's be transparent here. So what happens is, a lot of times these first-time home buyers, because they don't have enough money to put down, they're utilizing the FHA loan, right? They start to realize that $390,000 in today's market, you can't really get a nice home. Now you're forced to get a townhome or a condo. But we already know the condo and the townhome market ain't doing really well. But also, a single-family detached home has more value than a condo and a townhome, okay? So now the question is this. If you're sitting behind this TV screen right here, and you're only approved for $390,000, but you do want to get a home and you're comfortable with the $2,900 payment, the question is, what can you do to get up to the $485,000, okay? And I'm going to show you exactly what to do here. In today's market, a lot of new home sales are offering the craziest incentives. The last one I did was a $60,000 incentives, okay? So if you can negotiate the incentives, take that money and use that money to buy down the rate. Because if you're able to buy down the rate, you have more of a purchasing power. So Had a client, FHA, same situation, was able to negotiate $60,000, okay, towards closing costs. We used that towards some of our closing costs and our buy down rate. And we were able to buy down the 4.5%. So we went from 7% down to 4.5%, right? Now, that increases our purchasing power up to the 485. Now that we're approved for 485, we have an interest rate at 4.5%, okay? Now the payment is roughly about $2,800 a month. And they only had to come out of pocket a few $1,000s to get the deal done. Now, I'm not saying that this will work for everybody. It's a case-by-case basis. And also, I'm not telling you to buy a home. Because look, I'm a real estate agent, and I'm going to tell you this, okay? I have no clue where this pendulum will stop. But am I starting to see hairline cracks in the market? And the answer is yes, okay? But also on the flip side, am I still buying properties if I can find a great deal? Yes, there's tons of great deals out there. You just got to find it, and it really depends on the seller's motivation, right? And it also really depends on how you negotiate the deal. And that's the most important thing. But also, you need to take a look at how long will you remain in the property, right? Because you want to make sure you're able to weather out the storm. So remember, the crash in 2008 didn't recover until 2016. But during that time period, a lot of people made a lot of money. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. If you guys like more content like this, please let me know in the comments below. Also, I want to know exactly what your thoughts are. Do you think the market is going to crash here in Las Vegas? And what is a crash? Is it 10%? 20%? Right? It varies from one person to another. What is a market crash? A lot of people saying 50%. I don't see it going down 50%, but I hope it does go down to 50% because we will make a lot of money, okay? And I'm talking about you and me. All right, guys, that is pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Other than that, I wish you guys nothing but the best and be blessed.